today I reached 1,000 followers on my writing Instagram and Ethereal Pursuits, so I am in an amazing mood today. It's a really great writing community on there. Everyone's so supportive and lovely, so yeah, I feel really honoured to have such amazing people in my life virtually. Yesterday I tried to film this video, but it didn't quite work out. I've been warned on my phone for ages that I was running out of storage and I just ignored it, and I paid the price. I filmed all this footage yesterday and I lost half of it, and it was mainly the important part. So today is attempt 2. So today is the 30th of November. I finished NaNoWriMo on the 28th of November, which is the first time I have ever finished early. So I am thrilled. So I'm Elizabeth. For those of you who don't know, I am a writer, I'm a freelance editor, and I formerly worked at a publishing company. So today is a little bit different than usual. I'm going to be talking about my reflections on 5 years of NaNoWriMo. I've been doing NaNoWriMo since 2017 and it has changed my writing life forever. I'm also going to be incredibly honest. You're going to get all the nitty gritty. So I'm going to start from the beginning. I'm currently 26 years old and I have wanted to be a writer. Well, I knew I wanted to be an author since I was 13. I made that decision because I was obsessed with Christopher Paolini's Inheritance series, or Inheritance Cycle I think it's actually called. And for those of you who know about him, he, I believe, either published his first book or got his first book or started writing his first book when he was 15 and published shortly after. And that was sort of like set the tone for me, what I thought should be. So at 13 I had this pressure on myself, I need to be an author in 2 years time. And so when I was 14, that's when I first got the first semblances of some ideas and scenes for my epic fantasy Nordic Folklore-esque world that I'm currently working on. And yeah, so that was the real beginning for this particular world that I'm currently working on. And then 15 rolls around and I have not written much. I've just done little brainstorms and man, I feel like a failure. I haven't written anything. I'm just focused on high school and passing everything. So yeah, that was a bit of a wake-up call. But I didn't let go of my dreams. And so then when I was 16, that's when I really started forming the characters I have today. Then during university I did occasional chapter here and there. I worked in my world a little bit more because I was doing some creative writing papers, and that was sort of what started a little bit the trickling of the actual writing part for me. Then I didn't start writing consistently, chapters and chapters, until perhaps 2017. I had already worked at the publishing company I was working at the time for a year at that point. I was feeling very stable in my life, and so it was really an optimal time. I had a lot more time than I had in the past. So 2017, me and a friend from high school and a friend from university would send each other a chapter of our works in progresses every month, and then we'd meet up and talk about it. And I guess we were inspired by the Inklings a little bit, or at least I was, and I really longed for a writing group. So that was amazing. Sorry. Bit of a helicopter situation. I think I'll wait. My friends from my writing group wanted to do NaNoWriMo and I'd never really heard about it before. I think I'd like heard whispers maybe in high school, but it sounded like something that would lead to some bad quality stuff, so I was hesitant. But at the same time I realized that, hey, I just wanted to get this done, you know, and they were kind of telling me that, you know, it's better to have something to edit, and that's when I kind of got introduced to that idea, and I thought, well, why not? I may as well give it a go. And yeah, so in 2017 was my first year of doing NaNoWriMo, and my god, it was hard. I struggled. I absolutely struggled, but it taught me some really valuable lessons. I think that year I actually did reach 50,000 words, but it was 50,000 words of my whole project, and I'd already written quite a few chapters. I think I actually I'd already written about 5 chapters overall that year of my book, because we didn't meet every month, approximately. I don't remember exactly, but and so then at the end of NaNoWriMo, I had written 50,000 words, but it was of my whole thing. So probably not 50,000 words of the whole month, but I like to think I won, you know, because I'd never done that before. I moved past that perfectionism that had been haunting me my whole life, because the fact is that I didn't really start writing earlier because I felt like I was not good enough to write. And I was too silly to realize that actually you're not going to get better at writing if you don't practice. And so yeah, that first NaNoWriMo in 2017, writing my first draft of my first book, or two of the characters in my first book, because my book is a multi-point of view character story with 3 main point of view characters and then 2 extras. And so I wrote 2 of the main ones during that NaNoWriMo, and it changed everything. That's the other thing I learned during my 2017 NaNoWriMo, is that it sort of felt like a bit of a, I don't know how to describe this, maybe like a spiritual experience or something like that, like as though I was the vessel and I was just typing the words that were flowing through me, but I only reached that state because I was sitting down to write and force myself to do it. And yeah, it was really amazing. But I also remember during that first NaNoWriMo, I got really behind and I had so many thousands left in the last minute, and I remember sitting at my kitchen table, like just writing and writing and writing, and just, you know, taking like breaks every second hour, because I started playing this game with myself where I'd write 1,000 words at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock as an official break, and sometimes, you know, my word count would seep into the break time, so then I'd keep writing until it's done, and then I'd have the break for however long ahead of 9 o'clock period, and then 10 o'clock I'd write the next 1,000 words, 11 o'clock break. You see, like, and that method actually was really useful on my days off where I needed to just catch up. I learned a huge amount from that. It changed my writing life from then on. 2018 came around and I started writing the third and extra points of view of that book. I was using Writer's Journey, this book here, and it really helped me form that final character because I was struggling with her. I didn't really know where she was going, whereas the first 2 characters I kind of just went with the flow, and I discovered it along the way. I started working on the V chapters, I should say, using that book, and that was a game changer. It really helped me form her, and so then I'd kind of completed my first draft fully during 2018. So then when 2018 NaNoWriMo came around, I felt ready to write the first draft of book 2. I wanted to make sure that I didn't have any gaps in book 1, and that writing book 2 early, at least the first draft early, would help me realize where I wanted the story to go, and then I could fix anything up in the first draft. So I did that in 2018, and I was very prepared with that one. I had really, because of the book I'd been using that year to help me map out that character, it helped me then guide a very structured way of writing in 2018, where I had all the subplots prepared. It was always on the side of my document and all the notes on the side, and I had everything kind of mapped out in advance, and I was writing my, say, O and G characters for that NaNoWriMo. And yeah, I think that made it a lot easier, and it was very fun, and it felt a lot easier than the first year having been that prepared. In 2019, I had a lot of bad things happen during my personal life, so I was just sort of refining my first book, the whole thing, and then when NaNoWriMo came around, I felt like I hadn't progressed enough to do a first draft of anything else. I wanted to just finish book 1 to a reasonable standard, and so then I actually cheated in the NaNoWriMo sense and worked on my second draft of book 1, the whole thing, during 2019, and I realized through that experience that I definitely prefer working on first drafts during NaNoWriMo, but it was what I needed at the time. And I think going by the momentum of following writers all around the world writing at the same time as you. That is incredibly motivating. So I do encourage that, even though it's not official, if you feel you need to work on a rewrite during NaNoWriMo, but you still want to participate in that momentum and that community that NaNoWriMo is during November, I do recommend doing it. I personally realized I didn't really want to do second drafts again, but it was worth it at the time. So then I won that one as well. I won all of them. And so then just after Christmas of 2019, I gave my third draft to beta readers to read. Yeah, that was savage. It definitely wasn't ready to be read, but I was feeling stuck with it. I'd already worked on that story for so many years at this point, and I was feeling my experience with the publishing company I was working for at the time. I knew that even the most professional, experienced, decades-long editors need some distance from a project if they've just been in too close, and they need extra pairs of eyes. And so I realized that it's okay to kind of request help at that point in your writing process. And so then, yeah, I got, you know, some encouragement and a lot of constructive criticism during that first beta read at the end of 2019 for my third draft of book 1. During 2020, I was actually incredibly creatively motivated that year. I know the whole world was burning, but I was motivated, I was ready. So during that first 6 months, I finished that third draft and gave it to beta readers to read in July of 2020. And it was very promising because the beta readers who had read it before could see that it improved and they were quite happy with it, or like happier with it. And I had some new readers who could see a lot of flaws, and they helped me sort of with that as well. Like, I got really useful feedback from both sides, and that kind of made me realize that with beta readers going forward, I would really appreciate always having a mix of beta readers who have read your project before and new ones every single time, because you want that nuanced opinion. So then when 2020 NaNoWriMo came around, I'd continued working on the new draft because I was hoping to send that one again to beta readers before NaNoWriMo, but it just was not possible at that point. And so when NaNoWriMo 2020 came around, I was not prepared. I had not gotten organized like I had in 2018. And so although I had been collecting notes throughout the years for the V character book 2 in my phone for a long time, and had ordered those notes into chronological order, so then I had scenes to apply and ideas to apply, it still was not as prepared as 2018 with all the nuances. So that was a whole other experience. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed the sort of kind of knowing what was happening next, but not knowing all the details and having that room for growth. So equally, I loved that 2020 free-flowing story with some structure and ideas, and I also loved the very structured 2018 NaNoWriMo first draft. Yeah, they were both actually great. So I found that I can do both, and I don't think there is any wrong or right way to write. I've discovered through that. I definitely recommend exploring all the different styles, and you might surprise yourself and find you like something way more than you realized. Now it's 2021, I've been working on the first book still most of the year, working really hard. I actually was using this suspense book, noted here, link in the description. I highly recommend getting this. It changed everything. It made my story so much more suspenseful, so much better. Yes, please get this book if you want really gripping, amazing stories. Most of 2021 was really kind of restructuring that first story and making it the best it can be, and really learning the craft of writing, reading a lot of writing books. And sometimes I think it's actually worth doing that, you know, taking a step back and of course writing still, but also seeing your story from a bird's eye view perspective and really breaking it down. It's changed my story a lot, and for the better. So currently my first book is with beta readers again, the third round. This is the fourth draft with them, and I just finished NaNoWriMo 2021. I decided to work on the ONG chapters of book 2, draft 2. I know I said I'd never do second drafts for NaNoWriMo ever again, and I kind of still agree with that. I found it actually very hard to write the second draft during NaNoWriMo this time, initially at first, because I'm trying to make it perfect and make it really good, but I feel like I'm under a time limit and have to do a certain amount of words every day. So that was actually really challenging at first, because I had to rewrite some things because I realized that book 1 was going in some different directions. But then the main part of that plot is actually the same. So then as the story progressed, I was able to kind of use a lot more of the first draft material that I had initially done, but just made it better. One of the things I learned in my NaNoWriMo in general was how to write anywhere, because every year I'm doing something different, whether working full-time, having to go remotely, or traveling all around the place. I had to learn how to write almost anywhere at any time, because November, you don't know what's happening necessarily, and yeah, you just gotta go for it. You gotta go for it. That's been my experience with NaNoWriMo and my epic fantasy Nordic folklore-esque story journey to date. And yeah, my goodness, what a journey. What a journey. I've already got some beta reading feedback back for this last draft, and it's very promising. I can actually potentially start thinking about publication and actually make some concrete plans. So I'm incredibly excited for the future. Let me know in the comments below how your writing journey's been. I would love to hear it. I love hearing other people's stories, and yeah, like this, I want this to be a community. I want people to feel like they can share their genuine journeys honestly and authentically. That's what I want to do with you. I decided to film this outside this time because I'm sick of being inside from all that writing. Like, I love writing, but you know, now that there's no longer a deadline, I feel like I can breathe outside. Because right now in New Zealand, it's summer tomorrow, and so it's really nice weather. I want to enjoy every moment. And you could probably hear the kiwi birds at the moment. It's probably been playing around in the background of this video this whole time. You know, the amazing thing is that I feel that every single year NaNoWriMo has gotten easier, and the fact that I finished early this year, it just goes to show that the more you write, the easier it will get, and just keep going. Keep going. If it's your dream to write, it will get so much easier. And I'm feeling really happy because I think unlike previous years where I think I burnt out after NaNoWriMo a little bit, I have not burnt out. I am ready to keep writing, and I'm so excited to do it. I am fueled with excitement and motivation. So yeah, just keep going. Keep going. It gets easier. It gets so much easier. It's wonderful. My goodness, the sun is out and it's burning me. I should probably head in soon. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider liking and subscribing and ticking that bell. I would love for you to be a part of this community. Join me on our Instagram or my writing Instagram. You're so welcome. See you next week. I'm unbeatable, I'm creative, honey, you can get in line. I am feminine, I am masculine, I am anything I want. Sorry, I just randomly burst into song for no reason. Oh my goodness.